Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon to all students of University Utara Malaysia from the class of BSMH 3033 Training and Development Group D. Today, we have been invited by your lecturer to conduct an advanced Excel training workshop for all of you being present here. Firstly, let me introduce myself and my team first. Hi, my name is Muhammad Ahmad Syafiq bin Rozlan.
Hi, my name is Nur Janata Ashikin binti Muhammad Resduan.
Hi, my name is Siti Aisyah binti Abdullah.
Hi, my name is Nur Shamira binti Abdul Hasan.
Hi, my name is Umi Kalila binti Muhammad Sahariman.
Okay, without further ado, let us straight away go through on the items that we are going to cover for today. First of all, we would like all of you to answer a simple survey consisting of 5 questions on your knowledge in using Microsoft Excel. The link has been provided in our Google Meet chat box. Please start answering now. I will give you 1 minute to answer it. Okay, time is up. Now let us see the results together. Turns out that the majority of students do not know how to use the tools in Microsoft Excel. Based on the data collected, about 73.8% of students are unable to create pivot tables and make charts out of it to display data in Excel. Besides that, a total of 81% shows that students are unable to modify and summarize a group of charts into a dashboard. And last but not least, as many as 85.7% stated that students are unable to convert, sort, filter, and manage lists of data into a simplified set of data in Excel using the eFilter. Thus, we are going to help by teaching you how to use pivot table, make a dashboard, and utilize the eFilter of Microsoft Excel. Therefore, Ms. Shamira will be the one who is going to give you a brief explanation on all the things that I have mentioned just now. The stage is yours now, Ms. Shamira.
Alright, thank you, Mr. Aiman. Alright, students, as you can see on the screen is the example on how a pivot table is going to look like in Excel. A pivot table is a tool in Excel that allows you to quickly summarize data in your spreadsheet. One of the reasons we build pivot table is to pass information. We would like to support our story with the data that is easy to understand and easy to see. Besides that, they can be used to find unique values in the column, as it allows us to transform columns into row to row into columns by using the pivot table fields. And then it also allows grouping by any field in the column and using advanced calculation on them. Therefore, this is a good way to quickly see all the values that appear in a field, also find typos and other inconsistencies. Okay, next. All right, moving on the second one, which is dashboard. Okay, a dashboard is a visual display of all your data. While it can be used in all kinds of different ways. It is a primary intention is to provide information at a glance, such as KPIs. A dashboard usually sits on its own page and receives information from a linked database, which in this case is Excel. In many cases, it's configurable by using slices, allowing you the ability to choose which data you want to see and whether you want to include charts or graphs to visual the numbers. Okay, next. The last one is the if function filter. Okay, the if function is the most important logical function in Excel. It is used to test for a condition and return one value if the condition is true, and another value is the condition is false. As we can see on the example here, okay, if the quantity of apple is less than 10, it will return the value reorder. Okay, while orange, which exceed the amount, are written with false. In this case, you don't want any return value for those items, that exceed the quantity, you can update the formula, okay, by including 1 comma and 2 double quotation marks and close it with a bracket. And that concludes the brief explanation. So anyone with a question can type it in the chat box. Without wasting our time, I will pass the stage to Mr. Aiman to proceed with the tutorial on how to make a pivot table in Excel. So enjoy the tutorial.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Shamira. Before we start, I would like all the students to open up your Microsoft Excel software on your devices and follow me step by step. Clear? Good. Now I am going to illustrate to you on how to create a pivot table. Here we have a set of data on the number of government school teachers by the District Education Office. Let us use the pivot table to summarize this information and display the total value for each item that we are going to choose. To get started, highlight all the cells in the given data set. So we'll be highlighting from A1 to the last data in the data set. Okay. Next, you will select the Insert tab, and in the Tables group, click on the Pivot Table button. A window called Pivot Table, Create Pivot Table should appear, but for Excel 2020, it will come out like this, Pivot Table from Table Orange. And you should make sure that your range is filled and your new worksheet button is checked. This is the range and this is the new worksheet. Okay, then press OK button and you will get this blank pivot table of sheet 1. Next, we will choose the field to add to the pivot table. For the first pivot table, let us try to make a table on the sum of numbers of teachers based on sex in each state. To do that, firstly, you will need to drag the sex categories in a set of the columns, the number of teachers for the values, and finally, the state will go to the rows. However, as you can see here, the Excel has defaulted the title in cell A4, which is a row label. So we will just change this one to state. And once we have done it, our pivot table now shows all the information that we wanted to summarize. We can see the state values displayed in rows along with the sex with the sum of number of teachers. This completes our example on how to create the pivot table in Excel. Please take note that not every single row or column should be empty because otherwise the data would get corrupted. This means in the first data set. So does everyone manage to follow me step by step? Excellent. And to further strengthen your understanding on pivot table, I will show you another 3 examples. Then for the next one, we'll just go back to the data set again and press insert pivot table again and make sure that you have checked everything. So for the next one, we are going to do the sum of number of teachers based on school type in each state. So the same thing, drag the state to the rows, school type to the columns, and number of teachers to the values. Then you will get it. And let's proceed to the third one. Press insert again, pivot table. Press OK. And for the third one, we are going to do the count of school type in each state. For this one, we'll bring the school type here and bring it to the values as well. And take the state to the rows. Then we will get another table for the count of school type in each state. And for our final pivot table, we are going to do the sum of number of female teachers in each school type. So for this one, we just need to bring the number of teachers to the values, sex to the columns, and school type to the rows. However, we need to remove the male since we only want the female here. And we will get the last pivot table that we need. And that concludes the tutorial on pivot table. Are there any questions from any of you regarding the pivot table? Great. Seems like everyone fully understand. Next, you will be learning on how to make a dashboard, which will be instructed by Ms. Aisha and Ms. Ashikin.
Thank you, Mr. Aiman. For the first part of the dashboard, I am the one who will be teaching you. In order to make a dashboard, you will need to have a pivot table. Since we already have a few examples of pivot table made by Mr. Aiman just now, we can just directly make the dashboard right away. Once you already have your pivot table, just simply click on it once and select the Analyze tab from the toolbar at the top of screen. Next, select the pivot chart and create a pivot chart of your choice which you think will be suitable for the current data set. To get started, let us make a pivot chart for the first pivot table, which is the sum of number of teachers based on sex in each state. Are you all ready now? Good. As I have mentioned before, click on the pivot table, Analyze tab, Pivot chart, and for this one, I am going to use the 3D stack column as it will help to present the data much more clearly. Then, just click OK and your chart is ready now. However, let's do some basic formatting to make it more neat. Firstly, right-click on the sum of number of teachers button and choose Hide All Field button on the chart. Then, click on the plus symbol beside the graph and select the chart titles and give it a title. As for this one, I will put it as the total number of teachers based on sex in each state. This completes our example of how to create a pivot chart for a dashboard in Excel. Does everyone understand? Any question? Fantastic. Now, let's finish the rest. Next, we are going to make a chart for the sum of the number of teachers based on the school type in each state pivot table. Just simply repeat the things that you have learned just now. Click on the pivot table, Analyze tab, Pivot chart, and for this one, I am going to use the 3D clustered column. Then, just click OK and do some basic formatting, the same as the previous one. I will put the title for this one as the total number of teachers based on school type in each state. Okay, let us proceed to the third pivot table. Just do the same thing all over again. For this one, I am going to use the clustered bar and put the title as total of school time in each state. And now for the last pivot table, I am going to use the 3D pie chart and name it as the total number of female teachers in each school type. And that conclude the first part of the dashboard. Are there any questions? No? Okay, nice. I will pass the next part to Miss Aisha.
Thank you, Ms. Ashikin. Now, I will proceed with the second part of the dashboard. Firstly, we will need to create a new sheet and we will rename it as dashboard. Now, all you have to do is go back to sheets 1, 2, 3, and 4 and just copy the charts or graph that we have made earlier and paste it on the new sheet. Once we have done with that, click the arrow symbol right above the number 1 and beside the alphabet in the sheet. Once you have done with that, click the arrow symbol right above the number 1 and beside the alphabet A in the sheet. Next, go to the home and click on the fill color options with the pin basket symbol. Select the color that you think will fit the best with your dashboard. As for me, I will choose the red color. Our dashboard now shows all the information summarized. But to make it better, we can include slicer as slicer will allow us to filter our data based on the information that we want. How do we insert the slicer, you ask? Well, first, just click on any of the charts or graph. I will just click on the 3D state column and now you select the Analyze tab and choose Insert Slicer. Let's say I want to be based on the year, so I will check the year box and click OK. And the slicer is there now. You can have as many slicers as you want, but for today learning, I'm just going to use this one slicer. Now, for the final step, we will need to connect all the charts to the slicer. And how are we going to do that? Simply click right on the slicer and select Report Connection and check all the pivot tables boxes and press OK button. And now we are done with the dashboard. As everyone managed to catch up, well done. And that concludes the tutorial on dashboard. Are there any questions from any of you regarding this dashboard? Great. Seems like everyone fully understood. Next, we'll be learning how to utilize the if filters, which will be instructed by Miss Umi.
All right, thank you, Miss Aisha. Is everyone here still with me? Alhamdulillah. Now, let us proceed with the if filter. Since the current data set that we are currently using is too big, so I will be using a different data set to teach you. Therefore, I have asked your teacher to lend me the data on your mind examination marks. Now, I will illustrate to you how the if filter works. Here we have a table of data that consists of your name and marks column. Let us use the if filter to return the value of fail in the mark is less than 50. To get started, let's begin by entering the if command which is if condition value underscore if true, open the bracket, value if false, and close the bracket. In our example, we want to test to see if the value in cell B2 is less than 50. So we will enter B2 is less than 50 as the condition to test for. Next, we will need to enter the value to return if the condition is true, which is, in this case, we will enter the value fail. This means that if the value on cell B2 is less than 50, the if function will return fail. Now, let's complete the command to examine the result, and all we must do is drag it all the way down to get all the result. Okay. You should see the value field appear in cell E7. However, as you can see, when we don't provide the value that will be returned if the condition is wrong, it will automatically evaluate to false. Therefore, will be returned therefore we can add an additional parameter in the command by entering pass. Now let's complete the command and see how it goes. So when you write your if filter, remember to include both the value to return when the condition is true and false. Okay, and that concludes the tutorial on if filter. So, are there any questions from any of you regarding this if filter? Great. Seems like everyone fully understood. That's all from me. Thank you.
Well done and congratulations to our students for finishing this workshop while giving your full cooperation. Give a big applause for yourself. And we will also like to thank your lecturer, Dr. Daratu Ambia binti Chehmit, for inviting us to give this advanced Excel training for you guys. So we will wrap up our session with a photo session. Thank you.